Hey there, this is the Market Dog Queen, and today we're going to do Options for Dummies 2020 version. Let's go ahead and discuss options. When you're new with options, a lot of people like to use the Robinhood program. It's a very easy broker to use. It's a very simple app program that noobs can navigate very simply. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the program on Robinhood since they have updated their ways of doing things. And this is also to help you noobs figure out what the heck we're talking about when we're talking options. We're going to go through basic, simple, buying straight calls or straight puts. We're not talking selling options. We're not talking exotics. We're not talking butterflies or iron condors or any of that stuff. We're talking plain and simple language. Let's start with baby steps. You know how I like to do it. First off, yes, we do speak options here. We do speak butterflies and iron condors and all the other strategies, the broken butterflies and all that. But you're not ready for that if we're starting here with Options for Dummies. But I do have team members that can help you develop your strategies as your confidence increases and your skills increase in your options playing. I do love options, guys. It's a great way to play with the big dogs without having to buy the actual shares. Especially if you have a smaller account, there's a lot of tickers that you can get into an option play, whereas you couldn't afford to buy the actual shares. Now I'm going to tell you the plain and simple definition between a call and a put. So a call option gives the buyer the right, but not the obligation to buy the underlying security or the actual tickers, the shares, at the exercise price or the strike price, you'll hear it called, at or within a specified time. That would be the expiration date. There are monthly expiration dates. Every month there is one, and it's the third Friday of every month is the monthly expiration. And then, of course, there are the weekly expirations. And then there are others like futures, which trade all kinds of crazy times and days other than just every Friday. So a put gives the buyer the right, but not the obligation to sell the underlying security at the strike price before or on expiration. Now we're going to go ahead and we'll open up into, this is the main page. You will actually go into settings in Robinhood and you will go ahead and agree to the prompts and settings to allow your account to access options. And I always look for tickers in about a $50 and under range for those small accounts and noobs to get into. This is a nice range, a nice price range for you to get your feet wet in options contracts. So right here, we're going to look at Bank of America. It's one of my favorites, like AMD or Overstock. You'll see a lot of them that get alerted over and over again. They pay well and they're quite liquid. You'll hear liquidity mentioned a lot on the trading floor. That has a lot to do with being able to buy and sell your contracts. So anyways, once you've allowed contracts options through your Robinhood program, you're going to go ahead and click on this trade button. What I'm always looking for, like say if I'm going to go ahead and let's pretend we're going to buy a call because I think Bank of America is going to go even higher from this chart. And I'm looking at a basic, Robinhood chart. If I wanted to look at better charts, I'll go ahead into my Thinkorswim program and they have much better charts. But right here, this is just for your basic knowledge. So you go ahead and click on the trade button right there. And once you do that, this is what shows up. You'll have the buy and sell. You can go ahead and literally buy the shares just like always. Or you could go ahead and click here to view the options chains. And so we're going to go ahead and click on there. And once we do, this is the page that shows up. Up here across the top, it will give you all the dates of the options contracts that are available. You can go ahead and scroll all the way across. You can go ahead and go all the way probably into next year, 2021 or 2022. Right here, there's the buy and the sell, the call and the put. Of course, remember, a call, we expect the share price to go up, and a put, we expect the share price to go down. Notice here down here, I have in the middle of the page, this is the current share price. Always take note of the share price once you purchase a contract. This will help you keep track of your gains or losses as the share price moves up and down throughout the lifetime of the contract. Always make note of the share price. This is one of my little secrets that help me understand where I stand in my contract right at the time. Now, right here, we're looking at this is in the money underneath because it is in the money, ITM. This is out of the money up above. It has not reached that price, so it is out of the money. Anything that it's already reached is in the money. So we're going to go ahead and I would say we're going to click this $28 call. And so we would click right here on this little bitty tab right there. And once we do, this is what opens up. And this is where Robinhood has updated their system. Right here, it looks like a little gear, and we'll go into that. This is how many contracts you want to buy. When you're brand new, 1, 2 tops, or I'll smack you with an eggplant. Here is the share, the price that you're going to put in for the actual contract. Now, contracts are times 100. Remember, it is 100 shares, whether it be for the call or the put. So no matter what price you see here, you're going to times it times 100. So if it says 54 cents there, it's times 100. That would be $54 for this one contract. So let's go ahead and click on this little button right here so we can see what that shows you. And this is what opens up. They have now given you the option to customize your order. You can put in a stop price. You could put in good till canceled. And that's what that little gear right up there in that top right-hand corner does. Now we'll go back to here. This is where I want you to go. Now B, the letter B, right here, you're going to click on where it says bid and ask. We want to know what the open interest and volume is, what the vega, the theta, the gamma, all the Greeks are. So we're going to click right here for letter B. Once we click on this, we're going to see this. Now, this is very important when you are buying your contracts. You want to look at the open interest. Remember, OI. You'll see OI all over the place. We like big open interest. The volume is good too. This gives you good liquidity. There's the implied volatility. Yeah, it could be better, but it's Bank of America, and this sucker will move. Here's all the Greeks down here, and we'll go through the Greeks in just a second. You can see that this is the bid of the contracts right there, the bid price, the ask price. Same thing goes in regular stock buying. The same thing, there is always a bid and an ask. The only difference is there is open interest. This is how many contracts are out there right now. The bigger, the better. Obviously. Volume, the bigger the better, obviously. And there are times I will buy a contract when the volume isn't that big, but I know that the volume is going to pick up because of upcoming news, a buyout or merger, or other catalyst or good earnings, so to speak. All right? This is very important. Always check your open interest before you purchase a contract. This is very important. So let's go ahead and go to the Greeks. The Greeks, we're just going to touch on this basically. This frazzles a lot of people's brains because they get overwhelmed by all of this. You know me, I like to break down stuff into simple terms. So delta is the first one. Delta is the amount the option price will move based on the dollar change in the underlying stock. So let's go ahead and go back here. We're going to look at this. So delta is the amount the option price will move based on a dollar change in the share price. Gamma is the rate that the delta will change. The easiest way to think of this is these two Greeks. These are two most important Greeks, the delta and the gamma. The delta can be considered the speed at which the option's value changes. And then the gamma would be considered the acceleration. Options with the highest gamma are the most responsive to changes in the stock price. We like these to be big, okay? Now theta is time decay. It's the enemy of the options trader. It is the amount the price will decrease for each day closer to expiration. Obviously, the bigger this number, the worse it is. The vega is the amount the option will change for each corresponding 1 point change in implied volatility. It has no effect on the option's value. It only affects the time value of an option, okay? So vega is the amount the options will change for the implied volatility. So we're going to pay attention to the delta and the gamma. Theta is time decay. Vega helps push the time decay. And rho is just an amount the option value will change based on 1 point change, 1 point interest change. It basically is for more advanced option traders. It really doesn't affect you guys that much. I don't even pay attention to rho. I pay attention to delta, to gamma, and to theta, honest to God. It's really those three. Those three are the ones I pay attention to the most. So here we go. Now we're going to go ahead and buy this option. So right here where A is, this is how many contracts we're going to put. Now remember what I said when you're brand new, 1, 2 at tops. Then down here is the limit price. It's always going to be a limit price. I need you to put a price there. You can put anything you want. It doesn't have to be what it says right here. You can put a crazy number way up there, or you can make a mistake and do it less than what it is going for. And then Robinhood will do the math for you and add it up right there. And then once you do all of those two steps, Robinhood adds it up, and then it'll hit review. A button of review will show up. You'll click on that. And then once you do, this is what happens. This is the contract you own. Now, it always says +1 contract, even if you only have one. I don't know why. Just leave it alone. Don't worry about it. So here's the expiration date of the contract. Remember, you put in 35 cents times 100 is really $35, and that's right there. And this is how much the value of your contract is at the time. And of course, it's at 0 because we just purchased it right there. So once you do that, you can see it move up. Options make money, people. They can make you or break you. That's why people are very interested in this. Look at this. It's only moved just a little bit. It's moved $1. It's almost 3% gains. Now, of course, when we do an option contract, I like bigger gains than that. A lot of people want at least 10%, 20%, 30%, 50%. You can get 100%, 200%. It could go crazy. The most you can lose is what you paid for the contract. But the profit you can make can be endless. All right? So I'm not going to sell it there, of course. I don't want to, I could make $1 and consider that a good trade, but I don't want to do that. So here we go. You hear a lot of talk about lotto plays. There are a lot of calls and lotto puts. Now we call them lottos because they're associated between $1 and $10, much like a lottery scratcher ticket. Pretty out there. They can be way at the very top. The number could be way far away from whatever number you think it'll hit. Lotto calls would be, of course, way at the top. Lotto puts would be way at the bottom. And you could see it's for a penny there. Now, that would be times 100, so it'd be $1. Now, it doesn't have to hit, say, that $37 strike right there for you to make gains. It just has to head for the strike. You have to remember that no matter what the strike price is of your option, as long as there's some open interest, there's some liquidity, as long as you head for the strike, you'll make gains. And as long as you sell it before it expires worthless. Now, puts are the same. You would click on this button over here, and it changes the whole options chain. Before we were looking at calls, okay, and that was on the green side. Now we're on the put side. If I wanted to buy a put for Bank of America, then I would click on this put side, and it would open up a whole different chain, and then I would look scrolling down, all right? And here, of course, are the lotto puts. The same thing. It would be all the way at the bottom. You don't ever have to hit this strike. You just have to head for it in order for it to make gains for you. Now, the same thing applies with lotto puts and lotto calls. I want you to click on them and go into the basic information and find out if there's any open interest right here. Remember? If there's no open interest, don't go there. There's no contracts. No, don't go there. Look at the delta. Nothing. You might as well set fire to that dollar bill. And Robinhood has a fail-safe for that. If you try and do it, it'll open up this page. No other buyers. Now, of course, there have been other options that I have purchased that somehow or for some reason it pops up with no other buyers. I go ahead and click continue because I know I want to purchase that. But this one here, because it's a lotto play, this is just a fail safe to make sure you don't make a big mistake. And so once we do that, we're going to go ahead and put in the number of contracts we're going to sell. We're going to put in the price that we want to sell the contract for. Now, if I bought it for 35 cents or $35, let's say I want to sell it for $40, make $5 on this contract. I would put one there, I would put 40 cents there, and then Robinhood would do the math and make it $40 right there. And then a button would pop up, it would say review. I would click on that, and then it would go. And there it is. Boom, 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 review. You click on that, and then you're good to go. Now, always make sure to put your decimal point in there. I did this on purpose. I did not put the decimal point in there. I just put 40. And of course, Robinhood did the math, and it thinks I want $4,000 for that contract. Now, of course, I could do that, but that was a big mistake, and it'll never sell. So just be sure to pay attention to your decimal points. Be sure to pay attention to the number of contracts. I've heard many horror stories about people putting in the wrong decimal point in the wrong place, the wrong contracts, hitting buy, hitting sell, and going, oh my God, I didn't pay attention. Just take your time and you'll be fine. Now, there's other exotic little plays that you could get into. And this is the first one because it's so basic and simple. It is the straddle versus the strangle. Straddles and strangles are both strategies that allow the trader to benefit from significant moves in a stock price. Say you want to play earnings and you're not exactly sure which direction it's going to go, or you think it's going to go in both directions. It doesn't matter. You can play options and use both of these strategies to make money in both directions. So the difference between a straddle and a strangle is a strangle has two different strike prices, but the same expiration date, while the straddle has the same strike price and the same expiration date. A strangle, just think of it as going on either side of the neck of the trade. If it's at $10, a strangle would be $9 and $11. Got it? On either side. Whereas a straddle, it would be $10 and $10. The takeaways, they're to help you hedge your trading to make sure that you can make money regardless of whatever the market does to the share price. They're also useful when you're not sure, like earnings reports. Earnings reports are really touchy. I don't care if they have good earnings, the price could go down. They could have bad earnings, the price could go up. Sometimes this is just to protect your account and your bottom line. Straddles are useful when you don't know which direction the stock price might move, and strangles are useful when you think it's going to go in one way or the other, but you want to be protected just in case. This is all hedging, guys. This is all hedging, insurance against your possible losses. That's what they use options for in their plays. Now, remember what I said. We are looking for good open interest, good volume. Pay attention to the bids and the asks. Pay attention to your Greeks, the delta, the gamma, the theta. Pay attention to all of these numbers. Plan your trade and trade your plan. Trade safe, everybody.